All right, guys, we'll start with Coach, and then we'll open it up for questions.
That was quite a game tonight by our guys. First of all, it was awesome to see the crowd and everybody out there. That was exciting to run out to that. It being our pink game, and our guys getting a chance to represent those fighting breast cancer, and we got a chance to see some people be recognized tonight. One that hit home with us, Tammy Wilkinson, who's part of our family here. And so that was a very neat opportunity to go out there and play in the game, but also play for something bigger and represent it. And so proud of those guys. But as far as the game went, hats off to the defense. Those guys creating turnovers, having a shutout. I thought they played physical tonight. I thought they played fast. I thought they competed. And it showed up. Hawaii had potential to put points on the board, and we didn't give them that opportunity. We were right there in coverage and did a great job against the run. And on the offensive side, we took advantage of the turnovers. We put points on the board. I thought we got into a rhythm. We were able to hit some big shots. We got Chaz in the end zone this game. And you know what? Those explosive plays, some big runs by McNichols, getting into a rhythm and a little bit of tempo and being able to attack on the offensive side, it shows up that we can be pretty effective at times when we can do that. So, but, the key ingredient, I thought, going into this week was the focus of our players. That was what we talked about. We needed to be focused, take their record, throw it out, take the games they played in and the scores, throw it out, and, expect their very best. So I thought tonight we played in that first half, our very best that we prepared for. Second half, we got some new guys in there, some new faces. I wasn't real happy with that. I think these guys that have opportunities to come in there and play, that are in backup positions, we need to play better. And we're not talking about the score and all those things, but we're talking about execution and we're talking about opportunities. And so, when you do have an opportunity to get in there as a backup, at one point all these starters were in that same role as well. And so take advantage of it. And I talked to those guys about it, and you know what? We have a long ways to go in that area, and we should have been better with certain guys in there. So we'll work on that. We will improve. Those guys will need to help us. Some guys like Achillian Butler, though, that we got chances to get the ball to early on, and we see him score. He's a true freshman that we had a package for him, and he took advantage of it. That's nice to see. So, we'll go back and we'll watch the film. It's not ever perfect. There's going to be plenty of things in there that we'll go back and look at. The score was, where we wanted it to be. But, for us at this point, each and every game's different. You don't know what to expect from the team you're going to play, so you expect to go out there and play your very best. You prepare that way. You compete every play. You complete every play, which Ray Ford at the end of the game, when they threw it up and you see him doing that and he's right there, that's exactly what that means. And so there are guys that are doing that that are not the starters that we're seeing improve and getting better. So as a football team, I did feel like we had a few guys step up that weren't the starters that played better, that if they're in there, we feel good about those guys in those roles. So with that, open up for questions.
Harsin obviously went deep a lot in this game. Was that the game plan or something they gave you? And what did that do for you guys offensively to not only take those shots, but obviously hit them with regularity?
Yeah, it's always part of the plan, to try to take a shot if we can. We just hit them. That was the difference tonight. And so easiest way to get the big chunk yards is to take a shot. Now, I thought we did a nice job. I thought Coach Drinkwitz, the offensive staff, put together a good selection of plays that they felt like had options for the quarterback to either hit a touchdown or a big play or still have an explosive in there somewhere. And, Brett saw it tonight. Now, the one he threw to Spurbeck, that was actually designed to go to Jake Rowe. Safety played it a little bit different, so we did have Spurbeck running to the back corner of the end zone to the field, and Brett turned around and just whipped it and put it in that pie hole in the back of the end zone, and Spurbeck made an unbelievable catch. But that was one of those things that wasn't the primary throw that we wanted, but it was an option. He took it, and we got a big play out of it. To me, that was something with Brett, that I was really excited about, to take advantage of those type of opportunities. And, for us, if we can throw the ball down the field and get big chunks, and we can get into a rhythm in the run game, and we can dink and dunk every so often, that's the formula that you'd hopefully try to go into a game with.
Just sticking with the offense and Brett, how impressive is it that he is making throws and reads like that? And I mean, he doesn't have a ton of collegiate experience, and it seems like this offense is obviously carrying a little bit of a swagger or momentum, a confidence with him at the trigger.
Yeah, I think we've played better. I think he's played better. We've all gotten better. I think it's a combination of, the O-line getting into a little bit of a groove, the running backs getting into a groove with the O-line, tight ends being involved, wide receivers making plays. It's just, I don't know if it's one guy in particular, but it's a combination of guys all improving, and then Brett's right there with him, And yes, he is limited in his experience, but he's playing game to game. He's playing within the game plan each and every game. So how much experience you need for that, I don't know. Every game plan has a theme. It's set up for that certain opponent. Here's what you need to do to go execute it, and he's been doing that. And to me, that's really, for a quarterback and our entire team, if we can just take that focus week in and week out, worry about who we're playing, it'll be Colorado State next, then, we should be able to go out there and execute the plan.
I think Brett's completed 73% of his passes and there's no interceptions. I mean, what is it about, some of it's play calling, but just the fact that he's accurate and he's making smart decisions, and there's not too many. There was one tipped one that was almost picked off, but it doesn't seem like there's too many that he's making bad decisions on the throws.
No, I think he's being stingy with the football, which is what you want. I think he understands the way our defense is playing, the way our special teams have showed improvement. We don't have to win it on every play or every throw. And so if it's there, he's going to take advantage of it. If there's option B, he'll take advantage of it. If he can run it and get something positive, he'll take advantage of it. And if not, throw it away. And to me, I think that's been the one thing for him. He's made a decision that I'm going to do all these things if they're available to me, but I'm not going to turn the ball over. And I've just seen that, with what he's done in the play selection, good and bad. And he had a couple throwaways tonight. Had a couple that were close. We threw up that, are probably too close. And we'll learn from that. And maybe in that situation, we just throw it away. We punt, we play defense, and, we come back on offense and try it again. That, to me, is the key ingredient. If we don't turn the ball over and we keep getting turnovers on defense, we're going to have shorter fields, we're going to have better play selections, and he can make those plays.
From a defensive standpoint, I know one of the big keys this week was slowing down the vertical passing game. I think their longest passing play was 16 yards. They throw for 88 as a team. What were you guys able to do to really limit them? And it's got to feel pretty good to take away, the calling card of a team like that.
Yeah. We pressured. We moved the quarterback. We had a couple sacks tonight, but we moved the quarterback, and we didn't let him just sit there and try to pick us apart. Now, they missed a couple throws, that were open. They might have had a couple more in there, but I think the pressure and making that guy slide, set, and throw is what caused the inaccuracy. But if you watched, and I may be wrong, but what I saw in the game is I saw guys right there, on their hips, right with them, and if they were going to make the catch, it was going to be a great catch. So to me, I feel like our defensive staff did a great job of putting our guys in those positions. We called the timeout. I don't know if it was in half. Anyway, they were moving. We called the timeout for no other reason than just to let our defense settle down, stop their rhythm, talk about a couple plays that they might throw at us. The next one they did was exactly what the defensive staff said would probably happen, and our guys were right on it, and Darian almost had another pick. So I just felt like our guys played really confident in the back end and stayed right in those guys, whether it was man or zone, but they were right there taking away those throwing lanes.
back to Brett real quick on that 4th and 1 play. You call a play where he's got to look to fake a fumble and turn around and make that. What makes you trust him so much to run a play that takes so much poise?
Yeah. You're going to run a play like that, that's the only situation you can run that play in. The hash, the distance, I mean, it was the hash, the down and distance, even the field position. I mean, that was it. I mean, that's really what it's designed for. And we practiced it, you know. I think he trusted that it would work, and he did a great job with it. You know, you don't know. I don't know. You know, I think it's a matter of if he'd go out there and do what we did in practice, which is what he did now. For a minute now, Holden's out there so wide open, and for some reason he couldn't see him, and I'm not sure why. But he looks to his left, and he looked back where he was, and he threw it to him. So I was a little bit concerned on that. But, you know, that's one of the things that I think with some confidence and, you know, the guys around him having confidence that play's going to work, you know, it showed up tonight.
First couple games, Jeremy had all your touchdowns, but tonight you had 6 different players find the end zone. How much better do you feel about your offense when you have a wide variety of players scoring?
Well, you love that because those guys want to score. You know, you like to have multiple players get in the end zone. It means you're scoring a lot. And you also want to spread the ball around because, you know, those guys work hard too. And they want to have a chance to put points on the board. And then when teams are scouting you, now what? You know, are you going to use this guy, this guy, this guy? It's not just one guy they got to hone in on. Now which I think Jeremy's, you know, productivity up to this point has opened it up for the other guys. They look at 13 and go, hey, that's the guy that's scoring. Let's stop him. Now you got X, Y, and Z. And those guys are getting chances to get in the end zone. And, you know, that's how it plays out. You know, if one guy's having a lot of success, they're going to try to stop it. All right, here's the other guy's opportunity, and then it goes back and forth, you know, and that's where you get your balance.
Jeremy said, you know, earlier this week that the loss to BYU, that feeling that they had walking off the field was just something that they don't want to experience again. And have you noticed anything in the 3 games since or anything from that standpoint where they're just, I don't know if it's more focused or more fired up or just the fact that they're motivated to not have that feeling happen to them again?
Yeah, I think it's all those. Yeah, I really do. I think you know, the focus that we talked about this week, that always goes back to that. When you lose a football game, you learn a lot from it. A lot of good comes from it. And I think in these last 3 games, a lot of good has come from it, from that game, you know, of what happened, why it happened. You know, you don't shy away from it. You talk about it, even though it's negative, but you have to learn from it. And you know, I think it is a mentality that we don't want that to happen again. We may lose a football game, but we don't want to lose it in a way where, you know, we're not competing on a play, and they got to go make it. You know, guys will make plays. You know, if we're competing on it, we're doing the very best we can. A guy makes a play, give him credit. If we give him a play, that's a different deal. And I just think, you know, if you went back to that game, the turnovers, a couple throws they made against us, yeah, we've learned from it. You know, we don't want to do that, so we got to find ways each and every week to not let that happen.
You said at the beginning of this press conference that the backups needed more work, and with the game already in hand in the 3rd quarter, why didn't you leave the backups out, take out the first string, and leave the backups?
To start the 3rd quarter? Yeah, you know, we've never done that. You know, because, again, we still need to let our guys play, regardless of the score. And so we've always come out in the second half and we played our guys that have been playing because they need to come out at halftime and play. Because in some game, we're going to have to come out at halftime and we're probably not going to be up, and we got to go compete and play. And so you don't ever want to take that away from them. They expected play for 3.5 hours, so here's another opportunity to go out there, come out at halftime. What's their focus? What's their mentality? That's the challenge. And then you're going to get your other guys in. You also have to assume we scored 40-some points in a half. Well, if they start scoring 14, 21 in a hurry, all right, the game's not over. You still have another half. So you're out there to finish the game, try to put it in a position where you know you've got the momentum, you're going to keep it, and let your other guys go out there and play.
3 more.
momentum that you guys have been picking up over these last few games, what do you plan on doing to like continue this momentum so that this doesn't drop off or we have a repeat of the BYU game?
Good question. Every week's different, you know, and when we watch the tape, you know, we'll see what we did. You know, we'll have a better idea on Sunday when we practice with our guys, just what the mentality is, and that will create the theme for the week. Now, it still comes down to focus. It still comes down to worrying about our next opponent, not getting too far ahead of ourselves. I think that's the one thing we have to fight all the time is just the what ifs, because we can't control that. We know that we've got, I don't know, another four in a row before we have a bye. If it's 4 or 5, something like that, 4 in a row before we have a bye. So, you know, we have a season where we usually have a bye about this time. We don't have that. And I think that becomes more the focus of, all right, this is something new for us. We got to continue on this grind. We still got to keep our guys fresh to play, but we're in a whole different challenge along with who we're playing week in and week out. So I think that helps us focus.
That fumble there when it's, you know, in the third quarter, did you challenge that, or did you call a timeout because you wanted?
Challenged it.
Okay.
Yeah, those guys, I couldn't really see it, but, you know, 4 or 5 of our players were going, Coach, we got to challenge it. And I believed them, you know, and so they were going to run it. They weren't going to review it. I challenged it. Then when I did, they came back and said, well, now we're going to review it. So we actually had the timeout back. Yeah, they didn't take it away. But, you know, Mercy had it, and, you know, 3 other guys are going, Coach, the ball's out. Challenge it. You know, and they're yelling that, and the guys that were yelling it, then it's time to challenge because they know.
And then Rick Smith, can you just tell us what happened there?
Yeah, team rules. Simple as that. Team rules.
How long is that the fumble play that Brett threw the touchdown hold? How long has that been in the bag? Have you used that before? And then just kind of something somewhat off the football field. Jeremy Ioane returning to the Blue tonight. I know he's spent the last few weeks out on the island, and he's helping coach his high school football team. But what was it like to see him? He seemed lethargic, obviously, at times last year, and he was very energetic tonight.
Yeah. As far as the play, yeah, we've had that. We ran at one point. I don't know, back in 2005 and missed it. You know, we've had that kind of in our bag of tricks, and you know, watching film, it presented itself. You know, but it's got to be really the perfect setup, which we ended up being in the perfect setup. And Holden's been asking for a cool play, you know, that he could be in on, and I thought that was about as cool as it gets. So he got his cool play tonight. Yeah, Jeremy and his sister, you know, to see him out there. He came by, maybe it was 2 months ago, just different, you know, after his transplant, and looked great, was excited. You know, we went through a very interesting time in his life, you know, that involved football, and it wasn't about that. You know, it was early on, and just to watch him kind of go through what he did, to be where he's at now, to be able to go out there as a captain. You know, he's getting an opportunity to coach and do what he wants to do. Awesome. You know, and I know for our guys seeing him out there, they love him. You know, we all do, and so to have him out there on the field, that was a neat experience tonight. Good.